everyone, I'm Vivek Atray and you're on the Good Vibes show, and today I have with me Saachi Dhillon and Aman Dhillon, who are brother and sister and very exciting young people. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having us on the Good Vibes show.
Very glad to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Great to have you, and very multi-dimensional, very talented, and of course successful. But then success is a journey which is always in progress. So let's talk about Saachi first. She's an author, recently recognized with the Rising Stars of the Global Level Award in the UK, and also marketing head at National Geographic. Fantastic career already, Saachi.
Yes, indeed. It's been quite an interesting journey, I would say, both professionally and personally. Of course, since you touched upon my book, I came out with my debut book last year, which is called Dreaming of Everest. So that's, I think, given a new dimension to whatever else that I was doing.
I'm sure we'll come back to your book and we'll talk more about it. But let's go to Aman also. And Aman is a marketing person as well, now has his own business. And innovative advertising is something that you excel in, which I'm very interested to know about. And one of the things you've done is aerial advertising. Another one was something like 3D printing, or what is that?
3D projection mapping.
Okay, tell us about it.
It's a new technology. I mean, it's been there for a few years now, but you can basically project any image or a video on any irregular size object. It can be from the size of this coffee table to a whole building. So you can have like a whole video library or do something very innovative in terms of design and basically dazzle the audience while marketing.
Wow, that's the idea. But then also the aerial advertising, let's talk about that. So that is something you were an innovator in already in India. So how was the experience and how's it going?
Well, the experience was something new for us. It was new for the entire country. The time when we started, there were just 2 pages of regulation. Now that we've actually worked with the government and got them involved and stakeholders, so now it's a whole civil aviation rule. So we got passed. And we've done work with good brands, like we've worked with TataDocomo, Vodafone, Nokia, BMW. We've done 3 different cities. So it's a new medium for India. We advertise in the sky using an aircraft. And you can have banner sizes all the way from 2,000 square feet till about 4,000 square feet, which are visible from 3 kilometers away. And you can even do personal messages like, like, will you marry me, or, do Valentine's Day or something.
Have you done that for anyone yet, Aman?
Not yet, but there are plenty in line who want to do it.
Okay. So you could experiment as well with your own proposal. I mean, not a bad idea when you have an in-house aerial advertising company. So why not? Well, of course, you have to have someone to propose to.
I know, I'm going to have somebody on the other side as well.
Or it might be a bit too cliche that, he's doing it for himself.
I don't know. I think it'll take some time to be cliche. But this sister-brother vibe and being so innovative, Saachi, how does it work? I mean, do you have any professional rivalry, sibling rivalry? Plus, both of you are, let's say, uniquely successful. I mean, you don't have stayed usual kinds of careers as we discussed with Aman, and you will talk about the journey to Everest. I mean, what is this vibe? Are you just by nature innovative? Are you competitive? How is the sister-brother relationship?
I mean, there's always rivalry, I guess, between siblings. But no, there's no professional rivalry as such. I think it's more about helping each other.
Oh, it's just in a friendly way. We just like pull each other's leg, like probably like loads of brothers and sisters out there. So it's something which we love doing, and we just have a certain comfort which we can actually, and a lot of understanding on both sides.
Actually, we're trekking partners as well, so both of us love the outdoors, so we often just take off on some random trail
we will
here
talk
and there.
About that. Why don't we talk about it now? So what has been the most fascinating trek? We'll come to your book and Dreaming of Everest, but apart from that.
Fascinating trek. There have been so many. So the Himalayas, I think.
Where you were both involved?
Okay.
So we basically used to go to Kasoli as kids, like starting off just climbing the neighboring hills, at the age of 5 or something. And only after school, college, let's say, then Saachi started, going out for outdoor adventure. And although going on that path. So we've done like very unique treks, going to Chopta, Chandrashila, then
I'll tell you a funny experience though.
Sure.
The last trek that we both went on was somewhere in the middle of the pandemic, I think April 2021, which was to a place called Crystal Mountain, which is close to Tirthan Valley. So it was early April and there was still snow or ice at the top of the peaks.
Mostly so.
Yeah, so people were telling us, don't go, it's not a good idea. But since we were there and, I was like, let's go try it. And there was some guide who agreed to go along with us. So we were climbing, we went up and about 70% of the way was okay. But the last stretch was about a 60-degree gradient through like at least 3 feet deep snow.
Very tough.
It was tough. And of course, when you looked up, it was literally like this. You had to crane your neck up. That was going up, and of course the views were phenomenal because you could see the Great Himalayan National Park and mountains on all sides. Coming down was a different story because obviously you had to go slowly, tread through the
Always
snow and everything.
Yeah.
I decided to just skid down.
Okay.
So he was obviously not up for that because he thought it's obviously
Very
not a
dangerous.
good idea.
Yeah.
I was like, this will be quicker.
How was it?
It was fun.
Acha,
I made it much quicker than him.
No injuries, no bumps?
No.
Acha.
Here I am.
Great, super.
It worked out.
Yeah.
So that was a little adventure.
So when you talk about being an adventurer in your profile, this is exemplifying that. But how did it come to you? I mean, you were probably growing up in Chandigarh, going to school and into sports perhaps. How was that adventurer tag? Where did it come from? And where did that feeling come from?
In school, I was a very different person. So very shy, very quiet, had a very close set of friends, and that was it. I would play a few sports because you're supposed to. I think Kho-Kho was one of them and badminton. Yeah, back then. But it's only much later when I think after university. So I had gone to the UK to do my master's, and it's after that I embarked on this solo journey of traveling and exploring not only new places but even myself as an individual. So I think that's when I really opened up as a person. So yeah, that's when I changed, and I think that adventure bug probably comes to me from our parents as well.
She can say I got inspired by Aman as well.
No.
That's specific driver you got. So are your parents adventurous too, Aman? I mean,
Well, yeah, they have
how
been.
did that bug come from them?
I mean, Dad went to Sherwood School, so they used to go on mountaineering expeditions as extracurriculars. So, I mean, we were growing up in Kasauli, and a lot of our time was spent there. So, it's like a second home for us. Like Saachi was saying, while she was growing up, she was like completely opposite to me. I was the outgoing type, into sports and doing just socializing and doing a lot of
The
other
troublemaker.
Oh, okay.
Well, not really.
A bit of teasing. All right. Now, coming to dreaming of Everest, I mean, you are a professional, you work for National Geographic, and you've been here for many years now, I guess. How did you even dream of dreaming of Everest? I mean, how did that come about?
So whenever I go on any travel, I generally carry a journal with me, or I'll take notes even if it's on my phone, just to remember where I went, even small things like how much it costs you to take a taxi from one place to the next, what should you eat, what to expect. So that's when, so on this trek, which was to the Everest Base Camp, which was in May 2019, again, I was taking notes, and it was pretty much a 2-week adventure. But when you're on the trail, cut off from the rest of the world, you have a lot of time to yourself to contemplate and be a little more philosophical. So that's when whatever I would observe along the way, it just struck a chord. And when I came back, I remember I was back in office and I was so happy. It just, not to say that I was happy to be back at work. I meant that, it was the after effects of just coming back from this phenomenal trek and having survived it, because I felt very, very sick during
130 kilometers, right?
Yes, 130 kilometers, and you go all the way up. So these days I live in Delhi or Gurgaon, and it's about, I think, close to 500 meters. Eventually I went all the way up to 5,300 meters, which is close to 18,500 feet. So, it's quite something for the body to take, and to be walking 9-10 kilometers every day. Sometimes there's rain, snow, fog suddenly, very, very icy cold winds blowing in your face. So, you know, when you weather storms, it's also proverbial storms you start battling or facing in your own mind. So I think that was my learning from that experience, and I just wanted to pen it down. So when I came back, I enrolled in a course, a creative writing course at IGNU, and I put this as a novella, a project. And at that time I got a straight A, so I thought, okay, this is encouraging. Maybe this has potential to become a book. So I've been writing articles for various publications since many, many years, but I had never written a book at that time. That's how Dreaming of Everest came.
I've been through it, and it's factual as well as philosophical. So there are periods where you come up with a quote or some kind of poetry or something else, and then you'll talk of Hillary's quote, which I also love. I noticed in that, I didn't conquer the mountain, I conquered myself. So what was the philosophy and what was the feeling behind the whole project?
The feeling was of pure elation, and for a reader it would be inspiration. Like, you know, you go out there and conquer your own Everest. So that's actually the story of the book. You don't have to be a trekker or a hiker or want to go climb these high mountains, but it's more about overcoming fears in your own mind or limiting beliefs that you may have, whatever it is, professionally, personally. Somebody says something, you take it to heart. Of course, you live and you learn, and it's not easy. It's easier said than done, actually, sometimes. So that was the feeling behind it. And my main aim is actually to get people to go out and explore.
So inspire them to do more of that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are stayed in their careers and running after money, and running also means they're not literally running, they're just thinking about it. So it's so troublesome. I'm just switching to Aman for a minute. Sports has been such an inspiration for you as well. And one of the other quotes which I read recently is probably Muhammad Ali, I don't know, was it? So he's saying, it's not the mountain that bothers you, it's the pebble in your shoe. So the trouble is within again, like Edmund Hillary. So what has been your inspiration from sports, and have you had these periods when you didn't feel that great about life and sports came to your rescue or something like that?
Yes, I mean, sports is a good way to channel the energy. Maybe if you're going through a negative time, you can...
Which anyone can.
Yes, and you can just make it positive, and it gives you a sense of achievement. I mean, physically you feel better, mentally you feel better. It rejuvenates your soul as well. But the pebble, yes, I mean, like what sport actually teaches you that if you fail, that you keep on trying again, to win. And somewhere actually the thrill, or let's say like this feeling of winning becomes so ingrained in you that you actually start loving that, and you just going towards
So which sportsman or sportspersons have really thrilled you over the years and currently as well?
I mean, I've watched a lot of various sports. So
Tennis,
like cricket, golf, squash as well. Then tennis, Rafael Nadal. Cricket, Rahul Dravid, Yuvraj Singh, I guess. Then internationally, I think A.B. de Villiers, Jack Callis.
Oh yes, he's a rare one, isn't he? I mean, on our cricket group which you are a part
Yes.
of, we often discuss that people like Callis and even Dravid didn't really get their due. Perhaps they were so, focused and not that flamboyant.
I think they were just understated.
They were understated.
That was the only problem. Otherwise, they were match winners.
But the numbers speak as well.
Yeah,
But
tremendous numbers.
We can't make this a cricket good vibes discussion. We go so much deep into it. But Saachi, who's been your inspiration? I mean, anyone growing up as well as now who inspires you to do more, to become like this person, or is there no one like that?
I think I really look up to Oprah Winfrey because I used to watch her show when it was airing on TV, and I still listen to her podcast on, online. I think she's one such figure. Apart from her, I think it's there's no particular person per se. I think it comes from within. just the drive to do more. Explore a new dimension to my personality, and I think the last 12 months have been about that. So now it's like, what next?
Public speaking as well.
Oh, yes.
Public speaking is something we've been talking about, and that is something probably promoting the book as well as you said, getting people to go outdoors. That can it be a kind of campaign which you'd like to get into, or how do you look at that public speaking kind of career?
I really enjoy public speaking. That's what I've realized.
And a TEDx talk as well.
Yes, it's coming out soon. My first TEDx talk. So really excited about it. Of course, let's see.
Let's hope it comes out well. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So through public speaking, while right now, of course, I have this book to talk about. Hopefully, I will have many more in the future.
Yes.
The idea is, just to go beyond. Go beyond going outdoors. It's more about going out there and figuring out for yourself whatever it is that you have to offer or would like to offer to the world. So I think those are the words of inspiration that I want to give out to the youth or anybody else who's willing to listen. It's my way of giving back.
Yeah, well, what about a small town youth? Let's talk about a girl. We are in Chandigarh, which is not really a small town, but it's tier 2, let's say. It is a state capital. We grew up here, even I grew up here, and then we didn't really conquer the world, but we all became confident enough to take on the world and hold our own. But what do you feel you can say to that girl who's growing up in a small town or village who wants to aspire? What does she need to have?
The drive to do more. I think it's as simple as that. It's not about how many resources you have, it's all about the inner conviction or willpower, as you would call it, to want to do more. And there's so many people from smaller towns who actually really make it. Look at Kalpana Chawla, for example. I mean, was from Karnal, and look at who she turned out to be. Yeah, so I think it's all about having that dream. So I think going back to my book, it's all about dreaming big and then following your dream or chasing your dream.
There's something about a marketing person that he or she comes back to the focus point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, wherever you are, you're in a conversation and suddenly you pull out your book or something.
You have to do that.
But I mean, what is this knack? Now let's talk about marketing, both of you are. So,
Right.
I mean, what is this knack that you must have to be successful in promotion, marketing? And even I can bring my perspective of PR. What is that X factor or what is that knack that you should have?
I mean, you should, first of all, you should know what your target audience is, what your intent is, and how you want to be memorable. I mean, that's one thing in marketing which really goes a long way. And to be memorable, you've got so many different avenues where you can actually pitch yourself or your product and place yourself. So it's all about basically just the intent which is there, and how you actually inspire people to buy into, or let's say, the product which you want.
And then living that. So you become a walking, talking ambassador of what you're really doing. So like I was director IT of Chandigarh, and even while sleeping, I would probably be thinking about how do I promote Chandigarh more, get more companies. And just like you mentioned your book, Saachi, it was like it used to come out in every sentence that, I'm from Chandigarh and this, and Chandigarh is a great city. And then, Chandigarh is a great city, and let's talk about it for a minute, all of us. I mean, we are promoting a city which is basically great quality of life. People can come home for lunch. Traffic is increasing, but still go back on time. And you still are fresh, compared to Bangalore or Mumbai, where you reach work and you already pooped. So Chandigarh was easy for me to promote or market. But sometimes it's a difficult product or thing that you're landed up. What do you do then? What do you do when you have something difficult to market?
Find the USP or unique selling proposition. So I think it's all about messaging. What's your key message? How can you get it across in a crisp, concise manner to the consumer in a language or how they understand it? So I think it's more about that. or what, depending again on the product, like you said, sometimes humor really works. Actually, it works a lot these days, as we see on Instagram. People love just binge watching all these reels, which are just funny, and not to say that I don't do that either.
But we must contain ourselves. I must bring this point up since you mentioned it. Because this is something that I go and talk about in my talks. And I went to an IIT, and they're watching reels for 3 hours, which means they're not sleeping enough, because that brain will melt somewhere. So we need to be disciplined as well. But yes, there is something exciting about this current time when we can watch these kind of things. I have been watching Hollywood dialogues, and they keep popping up. And so I one after the other, I keep sharing them, and you know how they are. So Aman, we are talking about marketing, but let's talk about the career that you're in.
Right.
So what is the new venture or the new plan or your innovative marketing methodologies? How are they going to go forward?
Well, India is quite a cluttered market right now. I mean, there are tons of brands, hundreds of different companies, all vying for the same mind share of their target audiences. So to break through the clutter, that's why we decided to do aerial advertising, 3D projection mapping, skywriting is another thing which we're working on.
What does that involve?
That involves basically 5 aircraft going up in the sky, and there's a special vapor which they leave, and the sign will be about 5 square kilometers, which will...
5 planes going up. What size are these? What are they?
These are small aircraft, like single engine propeller aircraft, and you can make for example, you're just writing a name and there's a letter T, so that letter T will be as big as the Empire State Building. So that's the kind of sizes we're talking about.
And how do these pilots, are they trained for this?
They're specifically trained for this.
Yeah, because they have to, I mean, supposing the T goes a little teda, and then
no, it's
what do they do then? How do they rub it out?
Then the other letter also goes straight up.
There's no giant eraser in the sky.
In the sky. You just wait for the vapor to melt.
It's actually computer controlled.
Okay.
So it's like, it's basically like puffed out in a precision manner. So that's another thing. Then there are so many other innovative ways to advertise or do special PR events. You have aerial drone shows nowadays. So that's another thing which we can do. And obviously digital is another thing which we are touching upon. But right now we are working on sky ads because of the pandemic, we had to just restructure the entire company and get the rules changed. So now the new rules are in place. So now we are actually looking to work with somebody, or as you say, investor or something, to restart and go again.
Right.
So that's what we're doing.
No, all these innovative things, Saachi, I mean, he's into, this is not really AI, but it is new technology, it is definitely there. But for a minute, AI. I mean, we are having a very harmonious conversation, which is, we're all human beings, hopefully, I mean, as of now. One day, one of us, for example, may be replaced by a machine which is basically asking intelligent enough questions. So are we looking at an era where we should be scared? Should we be worried? What do we need to do to retain this human element, these feelings, emotions? There's nothing like a human conversation after all. I mean, even a pet, a living being, but not a computer or a machine. So what do you look at? Are you scared of this kind of development, or are you looking forward to it? Are we going to be easily able to adapt to it? Let's talk a little at the bigger picture level.
I think as a writer, of course, we already see what all ChatGPT and these other such softwares can really do. I'm not really scared. Of course, it's fun to see how they can project Saachi Dhillon to write, which I think eventually they will get if I write enough or they find enough to crawl, info on the internet. But I think it's also about embracing change. And while the Western world will probably see this, changing very, very quickly, they're way ahead of us. In India, I think we still have some time, so it'll be a slow change where everyone will have enough time to adapt to. I'm not scared of it. I think people do say, you might lose your job, this and that. We'll see what happens eventually, but right now I think there is still some time for that to happen.
Hopefully authors will be the last ones to lose their jobs. Like some innovation and imagination is definitely required. What do you think, Aman? Is the world heading to total automation? Will human beings also become A1, A2, E2?
I mean,
Z26 will be my name, or what? Something like that.
Like Elon Musk's baby or something. But no, I think like similar fears over there when the internet had just launched, maybe in '99, or when the Y2K thing happened. So I mean, this fear when something new happens is always there. It's a human trait. But I would say like you have to embrace the change, and you have to go with the technology, because this is something which is there to. It's an additional tool. Think about whatever you're doing right now. AI can actually supercharge it. It can actually help you, or let's say make you leaner, better, more efficient. So what you should do is probably work with these tools instead of being scared of them. Just think about that. They'll make your life easier, your job easier, save you time. So I think it's all right. I mean, some jobs will be going, but whenever some new technology comes out, it always happens. You can't.
Okay, we're going to come to a little rapid fire, and it's something which you're not prepared for, obviously, but it's something that you should be comfortable with. There's nothing much. So, Saachi, what has been the most aha moment for you till now?
Having my book in my hands, I think. A physical copy.
Having the book in your hand. I totally
very surreal.
Connect with that, absolutely. And then, Aman?
Aha moment, there have been various, but I would say like when we started, when we were doing aerial advertising, and I saw like how it actually benefited the marketers which we were working with. So I was like, yeah, we're on to something.
So you can expect the next question. What's been the most difficult moment of all?
Generally?
No, one moment which you remember, which was really tough, maybe during the Everest trek or any other time. You went well for a period of that time.
I wasn't, but I still don't think that was the lowest moment.
So what was?
Well, what comes to mind right now is when I used to be in the UK and I had just graduated and the recession had hit, so it was very difficult to find a job. And I had found one, or somebody had told me, come join from tomorrow, and for some reason that didn't happen. So that was a really low moment. Being in a foreign country and not knowing if you have to pack your bags and leave the next day. I mean, not the next day, but soon enough.
You have to leave suddenly. Aman?
Low moment, maybe when because of the COVID time, so a lot of people in PR, marketing and branding got affected, especially the outdoor ones. So just overcoming that and just going through that time.
Yeah, it's been tough, I guess. So to end on another good vibe note, with a little bit of a twist, so have you been ever fighting like while growing up with pillows or throwing things at each other? Do you still do that?
No, we still don't. But yeah, we used to.
Well, let's say probably try to imitate some WWF stunts, on.
He would try them.
When we were probably 10 years old or something. Or
when
whatever.
you were 10 years?
Yeah.
Much more sensible now.
Yeah.
Both of you are sensible, I guess.
Yes, hopefully.
So, what is your message to someone who wants to be like you, Aman, wants to get into an innovative career? What does he or she need to do?
I would say, like, first of all, be prepared to take a risk.
Okay.
Don't be scared of something new. Just try to push yourself, let's say about 10% out of your comfort zone. So that way you get to know, you start getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
And just have your eyes and ears open to all the things which are changing around in the world.
Yeah.
And just inform yourself, be educated and knowledgeable, and try to gain as much knowledge as you can through books and podcasts such as these. And
I think that's a very good answer, especially because you included the podcast. But anyway, even till then it was a good answer. Okay. But Saachi, what about you?
Oh, wow.
You're not a teenager right now, right?
Yeah.
What did you tell her?
I think to be more confident, because at that time I was not.
Right. And now super confident. So is there a thing that
I wouldn't say super confident, but
is there a harm in that?
Well, I wouldn't say I am overconfident, but yeah, of course you meet people and you sometimes realize maybe somebody else might be. However, yeah, you need to keep yourself in check also. So I think I am
Balance is
okay
the key.
there, yeah.
Balance is the key, I guess. It's a great conversation we've had. Actually, I was expecting it to be informative and inspiring, but I think we also discussed things which I wasn't really planning for, and there was depth, and I think viewers must have enjoyed much of it. We probably gave some ideas to the youth to be like you both and to grow up confidently and calmly. And I think a lot of learnings which we didn't talk about spirituality, but I think the bigger picture was definitely in mind as well. A very happy conversation. Thank you very much. Good vibes all around, and keep watching the Good Vibes Show. We'll be back with more. And once again, thank you, Saachi, and thank you,
Thank
Aman.
you for having
Thank you,
us.
sir.
Lovely conversation.
Have us.
Thank you.